I normally don't like that approach of like competitor research to find an app idea. I kind of just normally wait until something kind of just inspires me. But
Hmm.
because like the idea that it could do it all for me kind of made it like, okay, that could work. If it could spit something out and then I could go, oh yeah, I like that idea. This episode is brought to you by Smile.io, the loyalty platform trusted by thousands of the fastest growing Shopify Plus businesses to increase repeat purchases, reward VIPs, and build lasting customer relationships. Smile helps businesses become more profitable while discounting their products less. You got to be careful with the discounts. You don't want to push too hard on the discount pedal. If you're ready to turn transactional sales into lifetime customers, start building a more profitable business with Smile.io today. Dude, okay, so this is ridiculous, dude. Your levels of wholesomeness just keep skyrocketing. Your grandma runs a quaint B&B. You live 30 minutes from where you grew up in the Midwest. You shovel snow. You have snow fights with your kids. Gosh.
Sorry, dude. Just living my
Can't you
life.
be a little more, what's the word I'm looking for? A little more screwed up like me? Maybe
Maybe I should try that.
throw some divorce into the family tree or mix it up a little bit.
I'm a pretty lucky individual, I will say. Got some
That's awesome, dude.
reward-winning breakfast from the on-site chef, my father-in-law.
No way, dude. That's too much. That's crazy.
Next time
What
you're
kind
in
of?
California, you got to come up here. It's in wine country in Sonoma, and
Oh, dude, I'm there.
they got some
Um,
beautiful property, all the wine, good times.
dude. Next time my wife says like, "Hey, let's go to LA to visit our family," or "Let's go to California to visit our family," I'll be like, "Let's go to this place in California and not
Yeah,
visit our family. It'll be awesome."
it will. You'll have breakfast at 9 a.m. Like before my wife and I had our first kid, we decided like, oh, I guess our lives are over. We got to do something real quick. So we went
Right.
to Europe, and we went to a bed and breakfast in Rome, and it was
Yeah.
not the same. For breakfast, I had like she made me a like a hot dog bun with some salami in it and a
Right.
hard boiled egg.
Right. That's how they do shit out there, dude. It's wild.
Yeah,
Little slice of bread, like
yeah. Just give
some
me a
cheese,
piece of raw bread. I'll be good
just
for
four
hours.
types of different cheese on a platter.
Yeah.
Type of cheese you've never had before in your life. Nice.
What you been
So I
up
have
to, dude?
this, dude, I jerry rigged a thing. You know how like in church, like they'll have a mic that's like connected to a thing that's in front of their face, like the
Uh huh.
pastor. Well, like a, like a thing, like a headset.
Like a
So
boy
I
band.
was, what's that? A boy band? Yeah, yeah, something like
Yeah.
that. So I was trying to find something like that. There's a couple
Oh,
because
for your podcast mic
yeah, because
situation.
I have like a lapel mic, but you put it on your shirt, and then depending on I'm moving my head all the time, so I jerry rigged a pencil to my hat, and I have the lapel
Oh,
mic at the end of the pencil. So
it's
how does
sounding
it sound?
great so far. I guess we'll see if
Okay.
the pencil falls out. Don't move your head too much. No head banging.
Well, the challenge is I have my hat strapped on pretty tight, so I'm I'm
So,
losing I'm
yeah,
losing blood pressure as we speak.
if you drop
So,
off, I'm gonna have to like figure out how to contact your family to check on you out in the
dude,
garage.
I'm gonna loosen this up by one strap. This is this is out of control. I was like, when I had it one buckle left, the pencil was a little loose. I was like, let me tighten this up, but God, that was starting to stress me out.
Little blood flow
Yeah,
situation.
a little blood flow condition. Um, yeah, dude. Well, happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Ah, dude.
Good times.
I was a little stressed out and because they were kind of disappointed about some stuff, and so then I sent them an email afterwards saying, like we need to reset expectations or something, and they're like, "Oh no, it's cool. Like things are." And now every time they email me, like today, it was like, "Hey, happy Friday!" in the email. I was like, "That's cool." I feel better
Sometimes
now.
you just got to be a little real with people, and then they're like, "Oh, guess I'm being an asshole. I need to adjust myself a little bit."
Yeah, I'm just probably oversensitive, but
I don't
um,
know. It's okay to
yeah,
be sensitive.
it's okay to be sensitive. That's what my mommy always told me.
She was
Literally.
right.
she, she,
My boy is so
um,
sensitive, and it's great. He can tell me how he's feeling, and that's a skill, dude.
that's true. Yeah, to be able to kind of articulate how you're feeling
Hmm.
and stuff like that. Yeah, I think my son is maybe a little bit less sensitive than my girls, which probably makes sense.
Mm.
Started taking him to jujitsu classes recently, which is he's
Oh, no
totally,
way.
yeah, he's totally loving it.
That's cool. I took a
Yeah,
jujitsu class in college, and
yeah,
with my roommate, and I'll never forget the teacher always had this saying of um, like you'd have to do the judo rolls, and he would put something in front of you, and he would just say that it's a psychological barrier. And one day he made us judo roll over him, and he
yeah.
said, "I am a psychological barrier," and
Okay,
like, that's like the running joke.
okay. And then you rolled over him and crushed his larynx,
Yeah,
and you're
yeah.
like,
And he doesn't do that class anymore.
yeah, dang, dude. I mean, you're
That's
not a
cool.
small guy. I mean, you've got some heft. You've got some strength to you. So,
Yeah, well, I overcame the psychological barrier. It was fine.
nice.
Nobody got crushed.
Nice, dude. I feel like you could do some damage if you wanted to. Like
Oh, definitely.
if you got out of that wholesome zone that you stay in, you got a little riled up, you could probably hurt some people. You could probably generate a
Fortunately, that doesn't
significant
happen
amount of
very often.
momentum. Yeah.
Depends on how late it
Um,
is at the wedding or whatever.
yeah. I thought you were going to say how late it is at the horse tracks.
Oh, I've never been to the horse track. Maybe I should
Dude,
avoid it.
I've never been to the horse tracks either. Like I thought that was something that like stopped happening in the 50s, kind of.
Yeah,
Even
me
though
too.
like
The
I see
fancy
them
hats and
around.
the
Yeah, like one day I'm talking to my brother. My brother, he sort of has some bad habits, smoking and various other things. And one day I was talking to him, and he's like, "Yeah, I was at the horse tracks." And I was
like
just
what?
like, "Oh God, one more thing to add
They
to the
still race
list."
horses?
Yeah, but
They like knocking each other off or what? That'd be cool. They should do that still. I bet they do
like
somewhere.
not like kicking each other off the horses.
Like the giant poles that you see like on Game of Thrones.
Dude, I still haven't watched Game of Thrones.
It's fine. Don't watch it. You'll just be
I was
upset.
wanting to, but then I was like, it's kind of old now, and it's like, although I mean, it's not that old, but I don't know.
You know, it'd be hilarious is if you like live tweeted your experience and everyone's like, "Where have you been for the last
Yeah,
15 years?"
everybody thinks I just time warped. Talk about it like it's brand new. But anyway, what
So
have
the
you been
boys
up
judo
to?
rolling now, huh?
Judo rolling, yeah, yeah. They start them out nice and gradual, so they're
How old is
they're
he?
not. He's 7. He's 7, so
Cool.
They don't have you get right in there and start, fighting, full blast. They're just doing stretches and exercises and little games and chasing games and stuff. So he's having a blast.
Cool.
But yeah. So what's up with the Shopify stuff, man?
Shopify. I've been working on exchanges lately. That's been my thorn in my side these last couple weeks.
Oh, okay.
Have you done
Nice.
anything with exchanges?
No, I just actually re-listened back to the podcast we recorded, I guess a couple weeks ago now, number, I don't know, 8 maybe. And you were talking about the exchanges and I like understood it more completely listening back to it. But no,
Gotcha.
I think I've just peeked at the APIs a little bit, but
Yeah,
what's the
the
issue that you're
API's
running
got
into?
some shenanigans, man. So
Yeah.
Shopify has had this ability to create an exchange in the point of sale for like quite a while.
Right.
And we were trying to get access to what's going on there. So like when someone clicks exchange, like edits the original order in Shopify and adds some stuff on, and we were trying to figure out, okay, how do we know which things were added and removed on this order? And they told us about this Exchange V2S API. Have you looked at that?
I don't know. I don't know.
It's like not documented. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about it, but it was in a Word doc. And I was looking at all the things. So that is kind of what we thought was going to be how online store exchanges worked. We were working with Loop on that. And
Right.
then so they did an exchange for us, and we were testing it out and seeing how it looked in the API, and it just did not show up in this other Exchange V2's endpoint. So trying to figure out what's going on there. Turns out there's actually a different way that you're supposed to do exchanges on online store orders that uses the return API. Like there's certain things you can do with the return API to create an exchange, and it's different than the
Mm.
way that you create or look at exchanges from a point of sale. And it's hard to figure out from Shopify and also from Loop, like what is the difference between these two things? Why does one not show up in the other? What's going on here? They call the Exchange V2 API better exchanges, air quotes. So I feel like that's
What?
where things are supposed to go, but it's not there yet. And so it's very confusing. I'm like trying to figure out what to do to get this all working within the next couple weeks.
That's weird. You're at like the bleeding edge of the undocumented APIs.
I guess I didn't think I was because the point of sale has been doing exchanges for like a year now. But yeah, I guess there's some stuff that's not figured out here yet.
Some things just don't make sense. I mean, and there's got to be some reason for that, like fork in the road between those two APIs, but it's hard to
Yeah,
imagine what it is. Like you get that ironed out for exchanges. Like why can't you just plug the online orders into it?
yeah. It seems
Sometimes
like
there's
they're trying to
weird.
come up with like an exchange primitive, so that like there is an exchange API that exists somewhere, and maybe at that
Mm.
point it'll all be unified, but it's not yet. So we're trying to work around that.
Ah, that's annoying.
Shenanigans.
Shenanigans. I ran across some shenanigans today. When an app doesn't have a free dev plan in a dev store, that's shenanigans.
A free
I
dev
ran.
plan on a dev store.
Uh,
Oh,
yeah, like when you can't install an app in a dev store, just use it. That's
is
shenanigans.
that up to the app or is that up to Shopify?
So it's up to the app. Like they can detect your store type and just kind of like let you use it. And then also when you do like a billing charge, you can do it as a test charge. Like when I set up my app, it just happened. I don't know how I did it. It just was the way it worked by default, where either I was either using Mantle or something, but it
Hmm.
just when you go in to prove a charge, there's just like a yellow box that says this charge is just a test charge. You're not going to actually be charged, and then it puts it through so that if like there's certain things on the highest paid tier, you can just pick whatever tier you want, and it'll just put it
Mm.
through like a fake charge. And I've been testing like a million bundle apps recently, and most of them have most of them like that are like nice apps. They have that test charge for dev stores, but this one called Wide Bundles didn't have it. Which there's this dude that I see on Twitter that's like some kind of a famous Shopify
Yeah, it
app
sounds
dude
familiar.
in France that I think it's his app, and I don't know why they didn't have a dev thing. So I'm I'm calling shenanigans on that.
Shenanigans. Usually when I see that on an app, I reach out to the support and I'm like, please, sir, can I have everything in my dev store for this?
Right.
I
Should
might end
probably
up
just do
paying you
that.
if it works.
Right. Yeah, I should
And
probably
usually they
just
can
do
do
that.
something on their end, but
Yeah, it's so much easier when you can just get in there and start messing around.
yeah,
Bundle.
just let me
Yeah,
not have to talk to anyone.
just
Just let me
let
get
me
in there.
in. Yeah, bundle apps are so weird, man. There's so many that do like they all do things slightly differently, and they have slightly different feature sets. I guess probably most apps are like that, but bundles are complicated, and so I've just been trying a million different apps. This one app that we were trying had some roadblocks, it looks like, so I'm looking at other apps. Anyways, I'm kind of sick of the whole bundle thing right
Isn't
now.
but I feel like Bundles has like its own API now somehow. So are they all interacting with that, but like everything on top of that is totally different?
That's a good question. I haven't looked at the bundles API. I'm think it I think it might be just relevant to like the native Shopify bundles, which are like
Hmm.
fixed bundles, predefined bundles versus like what I need to do is a mix and match bundle where you add different things into the bundle. You've got different steps to pick different groups of products and then different pricing and stuff like that for each of those.
Got it.
So it's kind of gnarly. I think they mostly use the cart transform API
Hmm.
to slap it all together
At the last minute, pull it
just
all
at the
in, like make a
yeah.
new, is it like a short-lived product kind of thing, like a custom line item or something?
So some of them create a separate product that kind of houses the bundle, and then it has like meta fields behind the scenes linking stuff to it.
Hmm.
And then others will have like a unique app specific URL that's not like a product page URL. And so they probably have their own database that's has those entities in it. And
I
then they
see.
do stuff. So they all do it different ways. It's kind of crazy. And now I'm thinking maybe I should just create an app, just write it myself.
Just do it myself.
Yeah, that's probably not a
That'd
good
be
idea.
cool. I mean, you got a good reason to do it, and then package that bad boy up and throw it in the mix.
Package it up, sell it, get rich.
That's right.
Yeah,
What would your bundle app be called?
call it super bundles.
You got to make sure it's not too descriptive,
Oh yeah,
and it's
we'll call it Kalen's price tiered bundles V3 final.
not allowed.
Dude, you seeing all this madness with the app names?
Yeah, now everybody's got the like A colon. What? I feel a little lost in this thing, but I guess something's happening there.
Dudes have had apps for like 10 years and they're like, you need to change your app name. It's too generic.
Yeah,
One
the drop-in
one
blog, that's crazy.
drop in blog. I was like, that's a kind of a unique name. I mean, I saw it. I was like, that doesn't feel generic. I guess in a sense it is kind of
Yeah,
generic.
I wonder if
I mean,
checkout blocks is generic.
yeah,
Kind of
checkout
is.
blocks is extremely generic. It's like so generic that it's not generic. It's like so extremely generic. I mean, I get it, like, because there are a lot of apps that have the same name.
Totally. You don't want your app store to just be a bunch of stuff like that, but at the same time, like random brand names. I mean, I guess as I think about like the bigger apps, Clavio, whatever, however you say it, that's a real brand name. And so maybe
Yeah.
in the app store it would be like Clavio colon marketing emails or something. I don't know. But like, what are you supposed to do there? Just come up with like Henry the blog maker. I don't know. What is the what are they looking for there? But yeah, I also saw that Toby tweeted about it, so maybe they're doing something about that.
Yeah, they probably just some person got told to go enforce some stuff, and then they ran a bunch of queries, blasted a bunch of people, and now they're dealing with it. But like this one dude, he had like a Polish app for some specific thing, and his was the first one with that name. It's like some Polish word, and then now there's like 6 people that have copied him, and his is built for
Rude.
Shopify and everything. And so then he got a notice to change the name. It's like such a slap in the face.
Yeah, I was
It's
here
horrible.
first.
Yeah, it sucks so much. But I mean, I don't know. If you have a good, solid app track record, then the name doesn't matter that much because you've got the ratings, you got the
Hmm.
user base. Like, it probably doesn't matter that much, but it probably feels pretty annoying, I
Yeah,
guess.
I mean it's super important from like a when people are searching for what they need. I'm guessing a large portion of it is based on the title of your app, and so it makes sense to try and at least to some degree describe what it is that your app does.
Yeah.
To a large degree, I'm sure.
I still think they need to have a place to put use cases for your app, a place to put Q&A, and then you just have this gigantic amount of content specific to your app, what it does, what it doesn't do, and then you
Yeah,
can use that
that
to
would be great.
differentiate. I
And
mean,
a requirement to have screenshots of the app. Like a
yeah.
lot of apps, the all of the images are like
Oh yeah.
what it lets you do on the front end, or just like some
Yep.
marketing like icon talking about what
Yep.
it does. But I want to know, like, before I install this thing, can you just tell me whether or not you use Polaris?
Yep.
And like, is this thing does it fit together?
Yep.
But to your point, a lot
Dude.
of them have free installs on like trying it out.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, how about when you install an app and then it has like whatever the previous version of Polaris was? It was before my time, but it's like a different style, but it's what used to be the native Polaris style.
Like the green buttons.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you're like, okay, wait, this used to be very highly native and is kind of still very native, but not really.
Yeah,
That's
got
tricky.
some version numbers to update somewhere in your code base.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's more work than that.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a buttload of work. I use deep research to try to tell me some B2B app opportunities. You
Oh, tell me
know,
about that. How do you like so you go in there and you're like spend a day doing this.
yeah, you just prompt it. I think it seems like it pretty much always asks you some clarifying questions, which is pretty cool. Like
That
it
is
was
cool.
like, do you want me to limit this to the US or global? Do you want to look at feedback in a certain time range, like the last year or 6 months? I was like, yeah, that sounds good. And do you want like specific app categories or I don't know. It had a couple of good questions I answered.
Yeah, those are great questions.
And yeah, it had good questions. And then it went off and it was like, I was basically asking it like to find negative feedback for B2B apps in the Shopify App Store so that it could like tell me some good pain points to try to fix.
Hmm.
And it seemed pretty cool. Like it was like, okay, I'm doing this, and then it shows you all the stuff it's searching, and it's like, okay, actually, I'm gonna try this instead. I'm gonna try searching for some specific blah blah blah. And I was like, okay, this is cool. And then it went off and it did a bunch of stuff, and then it came back with like it definitely found some like unique negative feedback where it was like, okay, there's a lot of UX issues with B2B apps, and some of them don't do like pricing, tiered pricing. They don't do customer approvals. But then I was like, okay, wait, I need to know like I realized that these certain apps have negative, like the Bold app had like a bunch of negative feedback. But then I was like, what I need to know is if there's already another app that does those things well, then like I need to know if there are negative things that aren't resolved by other apps type, you know what I
Like,
mean?
is there actually an opportunity?
Yes, yeah, yeah. And then that's where I got like kind of stuck in prompt hell, and then it was like not.
Mm,
And you can ask follow-up questions afterwards, and I guess it's supposed to have like some good context window on it, but it didn't seem to do that good of a job with the follow-up questions. Like I was like,
how
well,
do
so
you know
tell.
when it's done?
I actually just left the window open and then I did some other stuff. I think could take like 10 minutes or something, but I came
Gotcha.
back after like 20 minutes and it was done. But I got to get my money's worth before I'm downgrading back to the regular
Oh, you
thing.
went up to
So,
the 200 level?
yeah, I think you have to for the deep research. I was like, well, shoot, if it gives me a golden opportunity, then it's worth it.
Yeah,
But
that's interesting. That's like the end game. Like, give something a task and it'll come back to me when it's done. And like, I don't have to spend too much time in the interface for this thing.
yeah, yeah, I might need to try some different prompts, but that would be cool if it could, like, because when it said registration, I was like, because I've been working on some custom registration flows. I was like, oh, that could be a cool thing to do, like an app that helps with registration approvals. But then I looked and I was like, oh, well, there already are a couple apps that they're newer. They have like 9 reviews, but they seem to be doing a good job of the registration and approval process.
Mm.
So I'm like, what's the point? Like, there's already a good app there.
And in the
But
original prompt, you said you were looking for opportunities, right? So
yeah,
maybe you just have to be more clear about
yeah.
it's only an opportunity if there isn't something else out there that doesn't have negative feedback already, or something like that.
Yeah. That just seems, I'm trying to think like how is it doing this? And it's probably doing a decent job of like crawling through reviews, but then
Yeah,
when you say, okay, and make sure there isn't another app already doing this, like how, I don't know if it's smart enough to do that cross referencing, but I might just need to experiment a little bit.
gotcha. Not
Yeah.
there yet.
Yeah. I mean, I kept seeing people saying that it's like insanely good at certain types of things. I mean, I think it's probably good at doing like reports, like beefy reports, but I don't really want a beefy report. Like I just want it to tell me one thing. Then I
Yeah,
want to
spend a
go
lot of
on.
time and give me a tiny amount of input that tells me exactly what to do.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So I don't know. We'll see. I got to figure something out. I got to find an
That's
opportunity.
interesting. I would love it if there was a way to you could get a notification on your phone that research was done, and then I got to a point where I need some help. Like, okay, the agent needs some direction. I can just jump
Yeah,
in and give it some direction, and then it'll go off and continue on.
yeah. Be cool if the thing could just spend like a full month, like as much time as it needed, and just come back every once in a while, and then you tweak it, and it just like cranks and cranks and cranks until it like finds the actual truth of some very specific
Yeah,
question.
search a
That'd be
bunch of
so
different
cool.
terms in the Shopify App Store and cram it all into your context, and then tell me.
Yeah. I normally don't like that approach of like competitor research to find an app idea. I kind of just normally wait until something kind of just inspires me. But
Hmm.
because like the idea that it could do it all for me kind of made it like, okay, that could work. If it could spit something out and then I could go, oh yeah, I like that idea, then it's kind of that goes back to that thing of reducing your context window. I forget what you called it. Reducing like your yeah like your context basically, because like
Hmm.
if I'm sitting there going, okay, I'm going to research all of the different potential apps that I can build, and then I'm going to blah blah blah. It's just like there's so much stuff, and you're just looking at other app problems, which is like kind of annoying. Versus if it could just spit something out and then you go, oh yeah, that does sound kind of cool.
Hmm.
Then I think I could get behind that type of an approach.
Yeah, agreed. There wouldn't be Well, depending on how it was able to tell you its conclusion, like here's the conclusion and here's why I think this makes sense. And then that helps you with your like, oh yeah, because you probably have things in your mind that you know would either work or not work. So that's how you personally evaluate the suggestion. So if it could do that work also and just like know what the things are that you would evaluate.
Right. Right. Like maybe you could say, here are some things I'm interested in or some things I've worked on recently. Can you go find me? Can you validate whether these are app categories that could use some help or something?
Hmm. That's cool. I haven't tried deep research yet. I feel like I'm behind, which is weird because like right now we have our company offsite next week and I have presentations to do for
Oh,
like
right.
how to save time using AI across all the
Dude.
different teams. So I'm like going back to the basics of okay, here's how you prompt. Here's why it's important to like start over if things are going off the rails because
Yeah.
it's all like the original question is part of the context, and so if you're not getting what you want, you're probably not going to get what you want by just
Yeah.
continuing that conversation. So
Yeah.
lots of like basic stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
You
yeah,
got to
things keep
spin,
going.
you got to spin it up for that talk. That's just a good excuse to maybe expense that.
I tried signing up for a company ChatGPT the other day because I wanted to get the thing that's confusing is when you get an API key, it's tied to a particular user. And so I
Mm.
wanted to get one that's tied to like a company so that like if I get hit by a bus or whatever, the things will keep working. And so I signed up for a ChatGPT company account. Turns out that's only for the chat. And in order to get an API key, you just have to get like a service account or something.
Ah, that's weird.
It's a little disjointed, but
That's wonky.
it's casual.
Super crazy.
How's your pencil situation going?
I'm just readjusting it right now, actually,
I could tell.
because I started holding it with my hand because the pencil was slipping, and then I got tired of holding it with my hand. You totally called it. That's so funny. Dude, I gotta pull up my list of topics.
To the
Find
list.
to the list. Doo doom 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 doom. I did a GPT list here. I put it into GPT so I could ask it for thingies, advice, topics. Why is my brain moving so slow right now, dude? I gotta speed it up.
Friday.
Oh, okay. Here's a crazy one. Harsh Deep posted
That guy.
about yeah, that guy, man, he's crazy. He posted this tactic he uses to pitch his app, which is wicked smat, which is that he basically injects it. It's like a corporate gifting app, which I really don't understand what that means.
Yeah, me
I mean,
either.
I don't quite understand how people like certain very, very, very specific categories I could imagine. Like
Hmm.
if you sell fruit baskets, for you, like if you sell high end bags, like no one's gonna corporate gift that, or I don't know, but I'm sure
We do
I
actually get a lot of corporate gifting, but it's very
okay.
hands-on. Like someone will order 40 travel case sets for their team, and
That's
then
okay.
like
This
we
is
ship all those out, but it's not on the site. But I'm
okay.
interested to hear what you're about to say about it.
That's actually perfect because it was one of these categories where I was like, it doesn't make sense to me how people would possibly use it for that. And you're like, yep, people use it for that. And then I'm like, okay, now I, now I see why my intuition was just off for that one. But yeah, basically I'll tell him to do it to you. Basically, he injects his app onto your site using he has a script that injects it using JavaScript as like a
Uh-huh.
demo, and I think he just records it maybe. I don't know. I think he like injects it on his end client side and then he records it, but it injects it and uses like your styles and stuff like that from your site so that it looks like it's actually installed. And he said it's converting really well when he does that. I was like, dude, that's so fucking smart.
That is smart.
Yeah.
So what
So
it's like explaining I'm not super involved in the corporate gifting stuff, but I'm guessing the main thing is like if you buy 40 of them, you get some level of discount.
yeah, I'm not sure. His app is called Yak, and I'm not sure how exactly it works, but I think it just takes a process that tends to be manual, like you just said, and it just somehow lets people do it right in the site, directly in the site. You can just buy a bunch of gifts or something like that. So
I have to go
yeah,
look at the App Store page on that one.
yeah, we got to pull that one up. He better have a dev store plan. If he doesn't have a dev store plan, it's all over.
Not going to reach out to support.
Yeah. I have a question. Do you know how, cart transform functions?
Hmm.
What I'm trying to figure out is if you have, like, I have this store that has like four of them. Like, there's a couple of apps that they have, bundle apps that use them. There's like a first party app that the developer built that uses one. So how is the priority order of different cart transform functions determined? I haven't been able to figure that out.
Interesting. I know for things like fulfillment constraints, you can set the order in the back end in the admin. But for cart transform, that's a good question. It's based on the hash of the function,
Yeah, probably.
something like that.
Something crazy. Yeah, I got to figure that
What
out.
kind of cart transforms you got going? We don't have anything that does a cart transform.
Oh, okay. Well, for this bundle situation, there's a cart transform that does some pricing for bundle pricing. And then this other B2B site I'm working on, we have one that does pricing, like customer, basically like pricing for different company price tiers because the native B2B pricing wasn't quite flexible enough. So we
Hmm.
have one for that.
Is there some indication on the order data that a cart transform function changed the price? Or like how do you know from
No,
an accounting perspective?
I don't think there's any indication on the order. It's just like once the order goes through, like that's the price. But I mean, from like for a bundle, let's say that you have one product that's $20, one that's $10, but when you buy them in a bundle, you could do it different ways. You could do a merge operation where you're merging those two products into one line item with
Hmm.
a certain price, or you could expand where you take one item, you expand it into multiple line items, or you could have, let's say you had, the $20 product, $10 product, and then you could just update the price of the $10 product to be free on the line item. So then the order would just have one line item was just free, the other one was $20.
Interesting. I have to give that
Yeah.
more thought. We haven't done anything like that, but maybe something like the merge would be cool for systems. We have this like systems product that you can get add-ons for, but we don't do anything with bundles on it. I guess merging would be cool in terms of like the customer display, but also could have a custom price. But then I'm just thinking cost calculation is probably weird there when it gets into the ERP without having some sort of it's like our NetSuite situation is like every discount has a specific account it goes into and that account gets charged
Oh,
based on like the margin calculation. So like willy-nilly changing
oh,
prices sounds scary to me.
gotcha. Interesting. Yeah, I was like, what do you mean by accounting? That makes sense.
We
And
also have
it's
like it's like leather products, so the margin isn't it's already like not a super high margin, so that's why we focus more on it than others.
right. Well, you guys are probably more sophisticated. Like a lot of people just aren't probably tracking their margins very well in NetSuite.
Maybe.
That's cool. It's not even a discount technically as far as Shopify is concerned when you do a cart transform. And the cart transforms do apply. One thing I do know is they do apply before discounts apply. generally, but I don't know how to determine the order of cart transforms themselves. And then also, I'm not exactly sure how to determine the order of discount functions either. If you've got a bunch of
Yeah.
discount functions, I posted to the forums. I'm trying to nail that down.
Any nibbles on that one?
A couple of quick replies. Nothing that really answered it. I'm starting to get this more where like a community person will reply to a forums post and it'll be like a decent reply, but then I kind of get the sense that when a post doesn't get any replies, the Shopify team like makes sure to reply to
Yeah.
it. And that's where
Say
you get like, that's where you get like a staff reply that's actually good. So when I get these community replies that don't fully solve it, I'm like, damn it, why did you have to
Yeah.
reply?
My one
Leave,
chance.
yeah, leave me alone. Now all I can do is like tag Liam and nag him about it like an
Yeah.
asshole, or just
Liam
sit,
staff reply needed.
yeah, or just sit there with like no response. So yeah.
Can you rate the answer? Then we're getting into like Stack Overflow situation.
No, but I did report this one guy because this one guy was giving these like AI generated replies that were like but the
Game in the
thing is
system.
they were like relatively good, but it was like this weird uncanny valley where you're like, I think this is useful, but it definitely looks AI generated, but it's sort of on topic, but it hasn't resolved the thing for me. And it's
Yeah.
just like, it's just
It's too many
prolonging.
words and too many bullet points. It seems
Yeah.
sus.
Yeah. And it's just prolonging this like indeterminate state of my question. So after seeing that guy do the same thing, I like reported it and I put a pretty detailed message in the report. I basically said what I just said there. I was like, it's kind of good, but kind of not. And I'm kind of on the fence. And then they replied to the report and they're like, yeah, we're keeping an eye on this guy. They're like, yeah, we're looking into it. But it's like the
There's
forums
nothing.
are
Is there
so.
anything to be gained from that? From just like posting answers in there? Do you get points?
I don't know. I guess
Maybe
points, and
maybe there
then
might be at some point, and
yeah, get
if
leads.
there's
I
accounts, you
guess.
can game them.
Yeah,
That's fun.
yeah. The new forums are just generally in such a pristine state compared to the old forums. Like
Hmm.
anytime now, if I'm Googling something, I land on the old forums. I'm like, oh God, here,
Don't
here
need
we
that.
go. I'm like,
Either it
time to
doesn't answer your
scroll.
question, or it's an archived post and you can't actually read it anymore, but it's still in
Yeah,
Google results.
can't reply, or it's from 2019, or even worse, it's from 2024, February, and you're like, can I trust this? I'm not sure. Yeah, it's a mess. It's a mess. It's brutal.
What else you working on besides the old bundles? Anything cool going on?
I was doing a little flow for some like location. This one client has a flow that like deactivates and activates locations on a schedule. Like they have a bunch of retail stores and they want to turn them off and on like the weekend hours. I can't remember originally exactly why they do that. It's a little weird, but kind of makes sense. So I set up a
That's
little
interesting.
flow for
Is it
that.
is it possible? So it unchecks the fulfill online orders from the store checkbox?
Yeah, and then it also has to assign them to a delivery profile, which I can't even remember how those work. It's like I set this flow up like 5 months ago, and then I can't even remember what the hell a delivery profile is anymore. But I have
Oh,
to. They emailed me because there's some changes to the APIs that they wanted me to look into. So I'm like dusting off the cobwebs and trying to remember how it
hmm.
works. Oh, one thing I did that was interesting. I open sourced that Flow extensions app that I was telling you about. So it has,
Heck yeah.
yeah, I got some nice likeage on that one. That was cool.
That's
So
the
it's a
one that
gadget.
integrates with Gadget. Yeah.
Yep, gadget app. It has a webhook trigger and it has an action. So you can get in there and then quickly get an action and a trigger functioning. So that was cool. That was cool. Feels good to be open sourcing.
Yeah. You never know. Like, are people going to use this thing or not? And now you'll find out.
Yeah.
Maybe get some inbounds from that bad boy.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. Hopefully not get a bunch of free support requests about it. I'm getting this error. Can you help me?
Yeah.
No. Leave
Nah.
me alone. Yeah, so that was cool. Got that spun up. Yeah.
Is
Oh,
there
did you
an
yeah.
additions coming up?
Dude, so there's yeah, it's coming up in summer, I want to say June maybe. But I keep I keep having these like moments of fear where I'm like, "Oh shit, did I forget to register and it's going to be all cuz last time it got fully booked like immediately."
Oh, yikes.
So I keep thinking like, "Oh shit, did it cuz I don't think it's gone on sale. It hasn't gone on sale yet. I think they announced it
Okay.
a month or so ago.
I'll have to
And
try and go this time.
dude, yeah, you definitely should go, man. Be good times. But I keep thinking like, oh shit, did I miss it? And I'm sure we'll see it pop up on Twitter when it goes on sale.
Yeah. How does
So
it compare to the old Imagine? Are there any like hula hoopers or what like weird
oh,
entertainment, or is it very like demo focused?
it's more dev focused, but I think they did have some. Man, I can barely remember if I think. I mean, it was big. It was gigantic. I mean, it was huge. I thought it was going to be like 50 people in a garage somewhere. It was like it was a huge venue, dude. I was blown away. But yeah, it wasn't like Vegas-y though, which is kind of nice.
Yeah.
But I think they had probably had some music at the thing. It wasn't too crazy.
How was the swag? Did you get anything cool?
No, I didn't get too much. No, I didn't grab too much swag. I'm sure they had some stuff, but
I still have my I think I still have my Snapchat glasses that I got from one year at
oh,
Imagine.
nice. That's cool. I remember those.
So random.
I tried on those Ray-Ban AI glasses at
Oh,
Target the
from
other
Meta?
day. Yeah.
How
The
is it?
dude, the bone conducting audio whatever is crazy.
Oh, I've
Like,
never tried that.
dude, it's the weirdest thing in the world. You put them on and you just start hearing audio in your ears. As
Do
if
they also display like things on the glasses, or is that the are those the new ones?
I didn't see it displaying anything. It would like take a picture and things like that. But the demo wasn't quite working. Like the volume controls weren't working. Not everything was
Hmm.
working for me. But just the audio was so crazy. But there's that type of audio, bone conducting audio, has been around for a bit. It was just that's the first time I've used it. It was really cool.
Did it feel like high quality, or was there any? Did it seem like muffled or anything?
No, no, it sounded great. It
Cool.
sounded really good. Yeah, it was the weirdest
I have to
thing.
try that out.
You
Hit up
gotta
the old
try it.
Target.
Swing by Target, check them out.
Target.
Um, yeah, that was pretty cool. So, do you think you'll make it out to the event?
I hope so. Yeah, I got a. I've been at Quiana for 7 years, so I get to take a sabbatical this year. Maybe I'll like put it during that time or
Ah,
something
that's
like that.
cool. That's
Yeah, it's
awesome, dude.
crazy.
How long's this sabbatical?
I think it's like 6 weeks,
Damn, dude,
and I
that's
just get
awesome.
to do whatever I want, which is, yeah, really interesting. But I also have to make sure that I can be gone for 6 weeks without having to like get on
Yeah.
Slack and help something. But we'll
Yeah,
figure it
that's
out.
so cool. Are you thinking about taking a trip or anything?
I don't know. I guess I have to. I guess that's what you got to do. Like
You
go
got
on
to
some
do it.
sort of vision quest.
Yeah,
Got
you
to
got to
read
do
some
that.
books. Like
Yeah.
improve myself somehow. I don't know. Never done it before.
Dude, that's awesome. Read some management books or something.
Yeah, exactly. Just wake up in the morning, get some coffee, get the kids to school, and just read books.
Do some yoga. Something,
That's
man.
right. Find peace with my inner self. I don't know.
Good luck.
Yeah.
That's gonna take more than 6 weeks, man.
Yeah, that's like a trip up to the mountains to hang out with the Buddhists.
Yeah. I'd like to do that one of these days. Do one of those like silent retreats with monks or something like that.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Damn, dude, that's so cool. 6 weeks, that's a long time.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do. I have to ask
When is
deep
it,
research.
when is it? Yeah. When does it start?
I got to figure that out.
Yeah.
Probably sometime during the summer because you can't get too close to holiday. I got like this A/B testing program I'm trying to keep going right now. We have this program of every 2 weeks we start a new A/B test, and like super consistent. We have a UX designer helping us, and we have like this goal of 1 in 4 tests has to succeed. So that's where I was doing all the customer research last year and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit stressful. Got to try and get that going. We're halfway through our first test and
Oh, okay.
didn't do great. It was kind of a lame test that we just wanted to see if it would help at all.
Yeah.
We noticed that a lot of people were clicking on the dimensions and care section
Yeah.
on the PDP, so we were thinking maybe it makes sense to surface that somewhere above the fold. So we threw it into the description area and added like a show more there, but that's not doing well. So we got to pivot that bad boy.
Oh, okay.
Then we're going into our next one on Tuesday. It's like every Tuesday, stop the old test, start a new one. So we just have this cadence going.
Nice.
So I got to make sure that can go while I'm out
Oh, okay.
and all that stuff.
That's cool. You got any other A/B test ideas lined up?
Yeah, I have like a set. We're trying to do it through July. So we have like 10 tests. Some of them are like require us to make changes to other parts of the site. Like we need to update our materials pages. And it's a lot of different things. This is like the main thing I'm focusing on most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
But it's cool. We're using PostHog. I don't know if I ever talked about PostHog on here.
I don't think
but
so.
It's like, have you ever used Heap Analytics? At a basic level, it just
Sounds very familiar.
tracks every time someone clicks something.
Yeah.
So you click on a button, it gets an event for the title of that button, the CSS classes, the URL that they were on when they clicked it, and all that stuff. And then later you can go in and say how many people clicked this certain button and then converted. And so you can go through and get some really cool information. Like we saw only 20% of the people who saw the test for the show more link with the description, only 20% of the people who saw that part of the test actually clicked show more. So it's nice to like understand what's actually going on, which is surprisingly hard. But PostHog does it really well and pretty cheap.
Yeah. What do they charge?
They charge, it's per like million events. So we end up spending like, I don't know, like a couple $100 a month for events, but they they don't have a sales team. You just go and like the first million events are free. And then after that, from 1 million to 3 million, it's like certain amount. But I feel like it's pretty accessible and it's easy to throw onto the site too. It's like integrating Google Analytics.
Nice.
Then you get to do all of the post-hoc analysis.
Nice. What's the damage on this PostHog opportunity?
How many post-hogs you got out there? What are you gonna charge for them? It's cute. They got like so post-hog. It's like hedgehog, and you can pick your little hedgehog to run around and like jump on top of your graphs and stuff. I'll have to show you. It's cool.
Nice. What wasn't there this thing you were telling me you used for A/B testing? It was like an open source thing.
Yeah, that's Growthbook.
Yes.
So Growthbook is like the feature flag thing where you can go in and say like, okay, for variation 1, I want you to run this JavaScript and CSS. So that's what actually does the shortening of the description and also handles like who should get which experiment.
Mm-hmm.
And then it also hooks up to BigQuery and runs off of Google Analytics events. So you can say, what's the conversion rate for mobile versus desktop? What's the add to bag rate and the begin checkout rate? And since Shopify sends all that stuff to Google Analytics, it just pulls in from BigQuery and can tell us what's going on. So the combo of like Growthbook and PostHog, I think, is super cool. And they're both kind of in that, like, that we don't have sales teams, just install the thing and pay us per usage. So it's great.
That's the name of the game. You don't have to deal with
That's it.
Some sales dude. God.
Just tell me your pricing. Don't make me get on a phone. Like, I've never been on a call with either of them, but they have like Growthbook has a Slack channel, so you can go in and ask them for help.
No, that's cool.
It's so cool, dude. That, like, the software that's out there for people to just self-serve is it's so great.
Yeah. A lot of software out there these days.
It's only going to grow. Everybody's getting their vibe coding on with VS Code, just like feeling it and getting stuff out there.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Coding. That word bothers me because it's like, I know that that's going to stick because it's just sticky.
It starts like right away.
It just
was
sticks.
Like Andre Karpathy said something about vibe coding, and now I see it all the time.
Dude, when I first read that tweet, I saw it in my feed, or I think Gil mentioned it, or somebody mentioned it. I'm reading this thing, and I didn't recognize the name or the Twitter avatar. So I totally thought it was some annoying AI bro that was like, yeah, I just vibe out. And I was like, this guy's as I was reading it, I was like, well, this kind of is what I do, but I would never describe it. I was like,
just offended someone figured it out.
No, it wasn't that. It was like, I wouldn't describe it this way. He's describing in such a douchey way. And then after I read it, I was like, why does that name look familiar? And I was like, oh shit, this guy's way smarter than me. Yeah. But it's like, it's just natural language coding. It's not like, it's not like vibe. It just sounds like it's sensing how you feel. It's not sensing how you feel. You're just like, you're saying
not
things.
Not touching the code at all.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Even calling it like hands-free coding or something would be better. It just, something about the phrase bothers me, but it's already stuck. Even in my head, it's stuck in there. And I'm like, all right, I guess we got to live with this.
Guess we're vibing now.
Yeah.